Hey folks, thanks for stopping by here at Randallology. Today we're going to show you a third option for upgrading your shop fluorescent lights that's extremely cost effective and easy on your wallet. Fluorescent lights can be a pain when the lamps go out. Replacing the lamps can be dangerous, especially if you drop or bang one of the lamps and it shatters into a million pieces all over the floor. When the lamp shatters, you have to have the task of cleaning up this mess. And if you don't get all those little pieces of glass picked up, someone barefooted could step on it and get it in their foot, and not to mention our little furry friends getting some stuck in their paws. So people are now moving to upgrade their fluorescent lights with LEDs. There's been basically two options for upgrading fluorescent lights. One is called direct replacement LED lamps, where you pop out the old bulbs and stick in the new ones and you're up and running. But somewhere down the road, if the ballast goes out, you have the task of replacing that ballast. These lamps can be costly depending on where you buy them, plus the incurred cost of replacing a ballast when it goes out. The second option is a complete retrofit, where you remove the ballast and then you have to modify the sockets to adapt to the new LED lamps. And if you have several fixtures that you want to upgrade, this too can be very costly. Finally, there's a third option. This is what I have done, and this is what this video is about, where you remove everything, the ballast, the connectors on each end of the fixture, and you install COB 50-watt LEDs inside the fixture itself. COB stands for chip on board, where it does not require a power supply. They can be wired directly to the 120 volt AC supply. This is very inexpensive to do and provides excellent results. This video is to show you how I modified my fixture. Hey gang, how's it going today? Well, about ready to get the permanent power in here to the garage shop, whatever you want to call it. And of course I'm over it being dark in here. Have to have extra lights to bring on the lights that you needed for extra lights. But anyway, when I originally built this, I wound up putting, this is a 4-foot commercial high output 2-tube fluorescent light fixture. I removed 3 of these from a commercial place, and when I upgraded the lights to metal halide, and so I took the old lights and I thought, ooh, I could use those in my shop. Well, the time that they've been in here, I've had to replace the bulbs twice in them, and those high output lamps are pretty expensive. So I've decided that I'm going to try an upgrade, and I'm going to try to use some COB 60-watt LEDs in it. And it's just, COB stands for chip on board. And so I'm going to modify these puppies and see if I can't, get some brighter light out of them, and of course reutilize them without having to take them down. So basically over here, I've already taken this one apart. And let me get up here. I've taken the lens off, and I've removed the lamps, removed the shield that was in there, removed the ballast. You can see a little clean rectangle area there's where it was, and disconnected the power coming into them. And I'm going to take 3 60-watt lamps, 60-watt COB LEDs, and wire them into here. And of course they operate off of, I think it's 110 to 200 and some odd volts. But I bought them off of Wish, and I've already got this one that I showed you. I've already got it modified, and I'll show you the type of light that it puts out. Get over here to the switch. I mean, it is a lot brighter. Of course, we got, camera's not really picking it up, but there are 3 hot spots, which would be where the 360 watt COB LEDs are located. But you see the amount of light it's putting out right here. And then when I turn it off, of course it's daytime outside too, but it's quite a bit of difference in the lighting. So let me get the COBs, I'll get them wired up, and I'll show you the installation of them. Okay, this is how I bought these COB LEDs. There comes 3 of them, they're all stuck together, aluminum backing. And of course, here's where I'll solder my wiring onto. That says L for line and then N for neutral. And of course I'll test each one of these out here with a little cheater cord. Make sure that they burn before I go to all the trouble to wire them up and put them in place. But well, I think we got my supervisor here. Turkey, are you checking to make sure I'm doing a good job there, buddy? Huh? He follows me everywhere I go around here. He's a good little kitty. Outdoor kitty, good mouser. Keeps mice away. Occasionally he'll catch some birdies. I don't really care about them doing that, because I feed him well. Yeah, I feed you well. Yes, I do. You're a good little buddy. Yeah. But anyway, getting back to the subject at hand. Was this are you approving? But anyway, the wiring these things up, and what I did, I wanted some smaller wire, but I couldn't get it at the big box store. So I got this 14 gauge stranded, and just clamped it up here onto the table, and then put my drill out the other end of it, and then turn the drill on to get this to twist together like that. So once I wire it all up, it won't be dangling back and forth. But let me get some cords together, and then we'll test these puppies out here and see what it looks like. Okay, we've got our wires soldered on here that hooks to this plug, and we'll grab and see if it comes on. Get this polarized plug right. Oh yeah. Yeah. See the lines going through there because the frequency of the oscillation of the LED versus the frame rate of the camera. You'll get those lines in there. So we know the first one works, so let's move on to the next one. Okay, we got number 2 tacked in there. Let's see how that works. Let's see, let me get that off there. I don't want to short nothing out. Okay, there's the second one. Fire in a hole. And it works. And we got 2 more to go. Number 3. Yep. And then we'll do the next one. And here we go with number 4. Good, they all work. Okay, now being that these wire that I twisted together is going to supply the power to these, and I've got the quick connects that I'm going to hook it into the main power. And this is a stranded wire, but what I'm going to do, because I'll show you those connectors here in a minute, I'm going to go ahead and tin these wires here, so when I push them in the connectors, they won't fray out, and it'll make a good solid connection. Then we'll measure our length. I've measured out that I'll need 16 inches from the left and right LED to go in there. So when I mount this up in the unit, I'll need 16 inches of wire to go to the center where the main electrical wiring comes in to make my connections. And then the one in the center, I'll just need about 6 or 7 inches on it. So let me get all these done here, and then we'll solder them onto here and bring you back. Okay, so now here we've got the white wire. Focus, you little booger. Anyway, the white wire is hooked where it says N for neutral, and our red wire is hooked to L for the line or the load. And so I've got one more to go. And when you solder these on there, you want to cut your wire as short as possible, because you don't want it flaring out where it could ground and wind up making the metal chassis of the light fixture hot. So let me get this one soldered on here now. Okay, now we got that one done. And what I'm using a Weller soldering gun here. It's I think 100 watt, 140 watts. I've had this thing forever and a day. And of course you just change the tips on it. Very handy. Of course you don't want to do this on, you know, something where you can burn the circuit up with it, because it puts out quite a bit of heat. Because mostly on electronic circuits and stuff, you want to use something like a 30 or 40 watt iron and you know, low melting solder. Of course I'm using, you know, some small rosin core solder. I mean, you can see how big it is. This is teeny stuff, and they even make it smaller than this. But anyway, so now I'll break these loose, and oh well, anyway, what I'm going to do too, remember I was talking earlier about being able to connect all these together. Well, what I'm using are these connectors here that's made by Ideal. And what you do, you just stick your wires in there, and it's got little feet, or not feet, but little tension bars that grabs a hold of the wire. And I picked them up at the big box store. There, and it's you get 100 in a pack. And item number 30-1034, P as in Paul, push-in wire connectors. And it can handle number 20 all the way up to number 12 gauge wire. And of course what I've got here is number 14. So let me get all these wired up here. Now we'll go up there on the ladder and we'll see what's going on. Here we got them all separated, and here they are in the push-in connectors. And I can zoom in on this a little bit. Anyway, can't really tell. I wish I had macro on this thing. But anyway, the clip is right in here, and then you push them in, you know, to where that they'll seat. But like on the instructions, you know, it shows here that 1/2 inch on the stripping. You don't want the wire curled. Let me do that. Well, cooperate. Hang on. Here we go. Anyway, you don't want the wire to be, you want it straight, you don't want it twisted or anything like that. And then on this next picture here, it shows, you know, that it seats in, and you don't want to have a gap in there, because you want it to fit firmly inside there. And then of course, and you can remove them too, but when you put them in, you just kind of give it a little twist back and forth while you're pushing, and it bites it right in there. But yeah, I've used these before, and I've had excellent results with them. There's you can get them in 2 ports. This one's got 4 in it, 2, 3, 4, and but you can get them in different configurations. But now we can go and marker holes and wire them up and hook them up. Okay, now when you go, there's that one mounted, and then that one down there is mounted. But when you go to put these things up, these things, they dissipate a lot of heat, and they need a heat dissipating compound on there. But I didn't have any, or what I did have dried up. But something that you can use is
anti-seize lubricant. This is a silver anti-seize, and you just put that on the back of the unit right here, and let me get that done and I'll show you. Okay. Anyway, you want to spread a little bit all across it, and make sure you get it covered so that when you push it up there, it'll kind of ooze some of that out. You don't want to get it on too thick. I mean, I just squeezed a little bit out of the tube and then rubbed around in circular motion to get it spread on there. So we'll get this mounted, and then we'll go down and fire it up and see what the light looks like. Okay, we got it mounted. Don't want to focus. Crazy thing. But anyway, so let's go over here and turn the switch on, and let's see what it looks like. Ooh, yeah. Look at that. All I got to do now is put the diffuse lens back up there. I don't know. That puts out a nice light over there. Might leave that lens off. Maybe we'll put it on there and see what it looks like. Okay, we got a diffuse lens on there now, so let's fire it up. I don't know, it kind of spreads out the light a little more there. I like it. So you can see how dim that other one is way over there. That's just got one of the fluorescent bulbs burning in it. But I got to move a bunch of crap over there before I can get to it. But for right now, yeah, that lights it up pretty good here in all this mess. That makes the mess look worse.
Hey folks, thanks for stopping by here at Randallology. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up, leave a comment, share it with your friends, and subscribe to my channel. Y'all come back, meow. You hear?